In this fourth Black Book lesson, we're continuing with sound, individual sound waves this time, focusing on them. I'm going to show you them and I'm going to generate them so you can hear them. And we're going to take a look in 3D across the range that we can hear. Remember, I said we can hear from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So we're going to take a look at the energy of the sound in 3D. That's a really nice thing about this Wavelab application from Steinberg. So the Black Book, once again, let me just take you through some basic waves. This is related to synthesis. And let me just fold this around. So we've looked at the sine wave. That's a simple waveform. All right, so waveforms. So these are the kind of classic waveforms that you're going to find on synths. So the sine. So you've heard that. Give you a reminder. This is one here. So this is sine wave at 220 hertz. It says a musical A2, and I'm going to compare that actually to a piano at A2. I'll come back to that. I wanted you to hear that. All right, so back onto the sine. Very smooth waveform. All right, so let's look at the next one. I've got one prepared here. This is a triangle, and I'll tell you what, just I want to reinforce this. You can see here the actual waveform shape. So that's on the actual waveform display there, but also on the left hand side you can see on the oscilloscope. So you get a feel for what's going on. It's a triangle wave. All right, let me zoom in. So a 220 hertz sine wave, so 220 cycles per second. All right, so you can see the shape here. Now you can hear it's a little bit more buzzy, the texture there. All right, so there's a reason for that. Now let's go and see the sine wave in 3D. I'm going to select this, come to analysis, 3D frequency analysis. All right, you can see that from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. This is the scale here. Time is over here from left to right. And the height is the level. All right, so it's showing you where the most energy in that sound is, and you can see it's just going straight up at the 220 because that's a characteristic of the sine wave. I can rotate here. I can show you around in 3D. It's an amazing thing, this, you know, to be able to see this. Let's compare that to the triangle. I'm going to select it, come up to analysis, 3D frequency analysis, and look, we've still got that tone, the 220 hertz. That's what we call the fundamental, but we've also got some additional characteristics. Can you see these little spikes here? They're very subtle. Now that's providing that little extra kind of edge to the sound. All right, so that's what's going on with the triangle. Now let me go to the next one. You know, this, the square. I'm going to zoom in here. So the square wave, you're starting to see that shape going on. There we go. This is a bit more buzzy. In fact, quite a lot more buzzy than the triangle. So have a listen. It's a lot louder. And let me show you. Let's do the 3D frequency analysis. By the way, I should be catching up on the book here. I'm just speeding ahead. I'm getting a bit excited about it. You know, I do get a bit geeky about this subject. So sine. And then we have the triangle. Okay, so we are coming up here, crossing down underneath, and then back up. That's a complete cycle. So triangle, square. So we've got this coming up, cross down through the middle, back up again. That's the square. And you can see here on the 3D view that it's a lot more busy. You know, you can compare that. It's a lot higher, these spikes, and there are different positions for the spikes. All right, there's quite a lot of scientific theory involved in this, but I don't want to go that deep. But you're just hearing and seeing that the shape of the square is very different. So we're starting. These are richer sounds. All right, so you basically have the sine wave, which is really simple. Triangle, a little bit more complex, but still quite subtle. The square, richer, and then we have, of course, the sawtooth. And let me just zoom out a bit here so you can see the shape there. Have a listen. Very buzzy. Let's see what this looks like in 3D. There it is. Let's rotate, and you can really see there a more exaggerated set of kind of sonic information. All right, so you can see it's reaching up into the higher frequencies with more energy. That's why it sounds brighter. And so that's the kind of basics in terms of the waveforms. Let's just come back to this. So this one, we're going up and then coming down and then along like this. So that's the sawtooth. Got some other waves that you can play around with. If you're using a synthesizer, you would have come across white noise. White noise is something that is very rich. You know, it's got so much sonic character to it, way across the range from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Take a look at the 3D analysis of this. Look at that. Just energy right across the board. And, you know, this is something you've got to be really careful of. If you're using a synth and you've got white noise going on, there's going to be tons of energy right up on the real highs and on the real lows. It's something that needs taming. When I get round to it, we'll do some EQ stuff on noise at some point in the future, you know, when you're working with it. So that's a very, very rich sound. The next one, pink noise. It's noisy, it's got lots of frequency energy, but nowhere near as bright. You're going to see here different characteristic. Okay, so lots of high highs there. Couldn't hear that on my earphones. The low rumble here as well. And then we're going on to the brown noise. Let's take a look at 3D frequency analysis of this. There we go. Real emphasis on the lows. So finally, to conclude this particular lesson, let's take a look at the piano again. Let's take a look at this. This is a musical sound, a real piano sound. And this is at 220. This is the A2, 3D frequency analysis. Look at this. Let me bring this round. So you can see a very different kind of plot, because this one isn't a sustained sound. It has a decay. That's a fall in volume. And you can see here, there's that 220 hertz spike, but also some extra characteristics along here, and also on the lows as well. So that's that kind of hammer action on the piano. It's a really nice little tool to use, this 3D analysis on Wavelab. So it can allow you to get to grips with sound. There is something that I'm going to use this for some other stuff in the future. Actually, I'm not going to run ahead too much now. I've got some other stuff to show you in future sessions that's related to this. But for the moment, it's just a little look at some of the waveforms and some 3D analysis of the sound.